Hey guys, Josh here with How to Roll Dice. Just a quick video today because my voice is hoarse. I actually ended up getting a bit of a cold while I was on vacation because we ended up walking through a monsoon while we were in Florida at Disney World. I got sick, my son got sick, my wife got sick, a handful of other people in our party, our family got sick. Overall, the trip was a bit rough for me and some other people in the group. My wife loved it, my son loved it, but we're just not warm weather people. And this was actually one of the hottest marches on record in Florida for quite some time, so it didn't work out too well for me. But when I got back this past Friday, I had some stuff I wanted to take care of over the weekend, one of which was relining my table here, and that's what I wanted to show you today. This is actually not felt at all. If you would watch my video or my two videos on how I made this table, which was kind of slapdash, I sort of just threw it together for about $120, $150, and for that it has served me spectacularly well. I put down a yellow thick felt on the top of it, and I actually used some double stick matting tape that you would use to put down carpet pads on stairs. If you've ever used that, cheap stuff you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's or any department store, hardware store. Cheap stuff, but easy enough to put down and really worked well to hold the felt down to the table. However, that yellow felt had started to show its age, not necessarily because it was the wrong material to choose for this type of project, but because it was a very light color, which means it shows dirt and grit very easily. And because of that, it needs to be cleaned, and because it's felt, it gets those little wispies on it, and it kind of wants to cling on to every little bit of dirt that sticks to it or that lands on it. And so you sort of need to use like a hand vac or maybe a light shop vac to keep it clean. And if you ever accidentally use beaters, vacuum beater bars on that felt, it's going to rip up little sort of tufts of material, and I had accidentally done that in a few spots. The felt itself was holding up very well, but because of those mistakes that I had made and because of the fact that I had gone with a lighter color, it was very hard to keep it looking nice. And because in a lot of my videos I like to have sort of these smooth slow motion close-ups or dolly in, pan in shots, zoom in shots, whatever. Brain's a little slow with the medicine that I'm on. It really shows if the table isn't clean, and it also bugs me because I'm a little picky about stuff like that. And when I took the beams off the table, because I did design this table to be sort of like adjustable, updatable. These posts, these beams around the outside simply have either 4 or 3 screws holding them in. So once you pop those screws out, these beams come off and then you have access to the felt. When I pulled that off, you could see a massive color difference between anywhere where the felt was exposed and where the felt was actually underneath these boards. It was a whole shade darker, and inside the cup holders, you could see there was a lot of grit that had fallen in there that you couldn't really get out because you can't get a vacuum in there really well. So it was definitely time to change it. Now, when I went to go rip up that felt, it actually turns out that those adhesive strips, that double-sided sort of lined tape, was doing such a good job adhering the felt to the tabletop that I couldn't tear it up. It was actually tearing chunks of the not particle board, but of the plywood that the tabletop is made out of off when I was going to peel the felt off. So I did about 3-4 inches of a corner, and I stopped. I pressed it back down. I cut off a little section that I had sort of stretched out while I was yanking on it, and I decided to just lay this new material right over the felt. And at first I thought I was going to have to tape it to the felt, but it actually turns out that this material here, which I'll talk about in a second, clings very well to the, like I said, that fibrous wispiness of the felt. So it was almost working like a Velcro, which works in my favor because that means I can pull this top material, this new material, nice and taut, and it will actually sort of hold itself in place without any wrinkles or rolls because of that felt and because of the way they were sort of interacting and working almost like a Velcro, like I said. So I pulled the beams off. I took this material, which is this roll here. I stretched it over the top. This is a 6 foot by 8 foot section of outdoor turf mat. So it's similar to a felt. It feels almost like a felt, but it's more durable. And it's not necessarily backed, but it does have a front and a back. It doesn't have like a thick carpet backing, but it's definitely got like, I don't know if it's some kind of a glue or an adhesive that not an adhesive, but some kind of a backing that they put on it where it's matted down. And it's much more durable. It's not gonna rip. Not that the felt I was using would have ever ripped. But because it has that backing, it has no stretch to it, which means once you pull it into place and you really smooth it down, that's it. It's in place. It's not like the felt where I felt the need to use adhesive strips to really adhere it to the table so that it wasn't going to roll or get any wrinkles or anything in it. This is too stiff and too tight to actually get any kind of wrinkles to it unless you actually drilled it down with wrinkles in it, which just don't do that. And again, because it was a 6 foot by 8 foot roll, and this is a 6 foot by 4 foot table, that means I can actually resurface this table twice with this one roll, and this roll only costs $24. And again, I got this from a hardware store. This is designed to sort of like throw on the ground outside of your camper or your RV if you're on the road and outdoors and you want sort of like a nice little grassy turf mat. It's nowhere near like a gaming turf like you would have on a football field or a soccer field. It's definitely, I'll give you some close-ups, it's just like a felt, but it's more durable. It's not watertight, which would have been nice. I was actually looking for a neoprene surface mat that I could put here, but you would have to custom order to get the 4 foot by 6 foot. Or you would have to go with a much higher end and in often cases decorative piece of neoprene. So somewhere in the $60 to $90 for the single 4x6, and they all had either forest patterns or stone patterns because they're thinking you're going to use them for tabletop war games or for miniatures for RPGs. I just wanted a solid color. So I ended up realizing that I could grab this from a local Lowe's hardware store, and I did that. So $24 for 2 replacements of your tabletop I think is really nice, and I really like this material. I haven't gotten to play on it yet, haven't had to clean it yet, obviously, because it's brand new, but it looks nice and durable, and it looks good on the table. A little darker than I would have liked, but I made that mistake with the first color, so maybe this is actually a better choice, a slightly darker color. Green, a little typical for me. I would have liked something different, maybe a blue or a red, but I don't mind this. So $24 for 2 tabletop replacements. I'm happy with that. Like I said, I'm happy with how it came out, got all the wrinkles out. What I do is I put one board down, I stretch, I sort of run my hands across it, almost like you're smoothing out a freshly laid sheet on your bed to get all the wrinkles out of it. And then I attach the screws to this one board, and then I move on to a side. Again, I press all the rolls out of the sheet, put the screws in, do the same thing on the other side, press all the rolls out, put the screws in, and then pull any remaining slack out and put the final board on, screw everything into place. And it's good to go. I apologize. Still feeling kind of crappy. But yeah, new tabletop. You'll be seeing this in all the videos. I'm happy with it. Probably going to have my first game night with it this coming Friday or Saturday. Yeah, that's all. Just wanted to show it off to you guys. Happy with it. Again, I'll give you some close-ups. I'm sure I've been showing them to you this whole time. It's weird always filming this and then going back and getting B-roll to inject. I never really know what I'm going to show you and when in my video, but you'll have seen it. But yeah, happy to have it, happy with how it came out, happy to have enough extra to do it, and again, another time, probably, a year down the road from now, depending on how much I use it and how well it holds up, which should be pretty good. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with another video, a little more entertaining, hopefully a little more gaming related. Hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better. And again, I should have my next game review up this Friday if I have the energy to get through it this week and if I don't end up getting thrown onto the road for work or anything like that. Hope you guys had a great week while I was away. Like I said, mine was a bit rough, but I think my son had a great time, which was the most important part considering we went to Disney and it was mostly for him. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.